And a very happy Wednesday to you at 12:08 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wangs in Culver City.
John, crime is down in Los Angeles. Also yesterday, there was a gang shooting where 5 people got injured outside of a convenience store in broad daylight. And Karen Bass had the strangest shout out at the press conference.
And I'm sad to say that after a relatively peaceful summer, to have the summer conclude with what happened here today, my hearts go out to the victims, and I want to thank the first responders, of course, Los Angeles Police Department, the fire department, and also our community interventionists who work very hard to prevent this type of violence.
They didn't prevent this one.
No, they didn't. But it was, in fact, a mostly peaceful shooting.
And also our community interventionists who work very hard to prevent this type of violence, to keep peace, and to reduce crime that happens, especially violent crime.
Now, John, aren't these the same community interventionists that when Karen Bass went to plead her budget to Black Lives Matter, said, we're going to give these people a 50% raise because if we don't, they'll just go back to being gang members?
And as you can tell, they're doing a heck of a job.
Don't you worry, everyone. Crime is down.
I'm surprised she didn't give us the speech. If you really understood statistics, you would know that the crime scene you're seeing over my right shoulder here really doesn't exist.
It's really hard to make that case when you're just standing over dozens of bullet casings.
Well, as long as the LA Times prints it and KNX reports it, then who knows what the public will believe. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, yesterday we told you that some of the homeless are turning into Karens, where they were given stipends from the government to spend on necessities. And Randy, they were very upset at the restrictions that were placed on their spending practices.
So Matt Mahan, the mayor of San Jose, has been clearing out this massive homeless encampment at Columbus Park. And part of the way to get people out of their RVs, the easiest way is just to buy them. So they've made deals to buy these disgusting derelict RVs for $2,000, except the $2,000, the homeless are upset that it can't be used on cigarettes or booze.
And they're fighting mad about that.
Because it's a $2,000 SNAP card, and you cannot use welfare food stamp food assistance on ciggies.
How about for meth?
That would, I don't think you can either. It used to be if you had that cash benefit, it was like an ATM, and you used to be able to use that money at pot stores and strip clubs and booze and what have you.
Well, as it turns out, it's not just the homeless in San Jose who are a bunch of Karens. There are a bunch of Karens down in San Diego, too.
So San Diego, what used to be known as America's finest city until the most recent people took over, has had these safe camping sites all over, including one near the Balboa Park area. And a safe camping site is exactly what it sounds like, a giant lot with a bunch of tents. And apparently, some members of the unhoused community have filed a lawsuit because they don't care for the, quote, inhumane conditions at the safe camping site run by a nonprofit appointed by the city.
And what are said inhumane conditions?
They say it's dirty and full of rats.
And I wonder who brought the rats there.
That's a good question. For more on this lawsuit, here is CBS 8 in San Diego.
A federal lawsuit is accusing the city of San Diego of disability discrimination and poor living conditions.
What, there's no wheelchair access?
Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me that we're now required to have wheelchair ramps at homeless encampments?
And poor living conditions at 2 safe sleeping campsites. Good evening. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. There are claims of rodent infestation, inadequate sanitation and security.
What was it like at the encampment before safe camping?
Oh, I'm sure it was clean and pristine.
Good evening. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. There are claims of rodent infestation, inadequate sanitation and security, lack of adequate shelter, and a starvation diet of poor quality food.
Wait, so we're supposed to provide a cafeteria in the park, too?
Yes. We have to provide everything for these people because they are now wards of the state.
Living in a park.
CBS 8's Alex Cheney is live in Balboa Park with more on this lawsuit. Alex.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the lawsuit. It's 49 pages describing all the unsafe living conditions here at the B-Lot camp near Balboa Park. I spoke with the lead attorney of the lawsuit today, who told me that they're going to be seeking punitive damages from the city of San Diego.
Of course they are.
So now the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for even more money.
This is a warning to all communities in the state of California. If your local government is thinking that safe camping is a good idea, this is what can happen.
Well, because now it's gone from being an illegal encampment to an officially sanctioned area for the homeless. And if it's officially sanctioned, they're going to find an ambulance chaser who's willing to hold the city to all the same standards that you would be held to anywhere else.
Every day.
Tim Allen says he's
Not that Tim Allen.
No. The guy that grunts?
Every day.
Tim Allen says he sees rats running around every day in one of the city's safe sleeping camps where he's been living for nearly 2 years.
When they brought in the new tents, they pulled up my plank, and there was about 20 rats ran out in a big old nest.
Well, how about this? Get a job and get an apartment.
Well, no, we can't do that.
Well, you'd have to lay off the meth, too.
It was under my tent, under my floor.
The 8 plaintiffs listed in the lawsuit appeared today, along with photos of inside the camps showing the rats and what they claim is maggot-infested food served in the camp.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what? These people have a good point. None of this is acceptable. So how about this? Let's bring in the bulldozers and clean everything out and allow the children to go back to using the park. Because the kids don't bring the rats. The meth addicts do. The kids, not so much.
The lawsuit Monday in San Diego federal court seeks a court-ordered remedy for inaccessible and inhumane conditions at the 2 safe sleeping lots, O and B, near Balboa Park. The lawsuit named the city of San Diego as a defendant, along with Dreams for Change.
Dreams for Change, huh?
That's the nonprofit that was contracted by the city of San Diego and the county of San Diego to run this safe sleeping lot.
I'm sure they're not politically connected at all, and all of the money that they were given by taxpayers was well spent.
Along with Dreams for Change and the Downtown San Diego Partnership, which help operate the lots.
They're getting worse than if they were living in their own tents.
We were living in squalor before this, and we miss those days.
This state is so insane right now. Every day when we look at the news, I say to myself, you can't be shocked. You've seen it all. This is an open-air insane asylum, and there's nothing they have left to throw at you. And then something comes along every single day that causes you to just throw your hands up in the air and say, okay, they did it again.
When you have a government-sanctioned homeless encampment, who didn't see this coming? All of the inhumane, unsanitary conditions are one thing when they're against the law. But when the government says, come here and bring your tent and all your problems with you, and the rats come too, now you got a problem on your hands because you allowed this.
Now, I don't have a law degree, but I could have told you that this was going to be where it ended up.
And by the way, this should end right now. Anybody in the state saying San Diego is the model for how to deal with the homeless. It is not.
Nope. They used to when Kevin Faulconer was mayor. They used to when Saunders was mayor. They used to with the guy before him. Actually, no. That was Bob Filner. And he had some problems. But for the most part, they had pretty good mayors down there. Now, not so much. They have a guy from Sacramento, a state assemblyman, who is now mayor of San Diego, who is a down-the-line Democratic partisan, and he's producing exactly what you would expect.
On under the freeway.
The city of San Diego.
These people were better off when they were under the freeway.
They had no lawsuits when they were living underneath the freeway. Now they're living in the same squalor. They just have the opportunity for a lawsuit.
The city of San Diego said in a statement to CBS 8 that they are working with the County of San Diego's vector control program to get the rats out.
Okay, that's not good for the lawsuit if they just admitted the rats are there.
No, but you see, they're all in cahoots with one another. They're perfectly happy to lose a lawsuit because then the money just goes back to the problem. They don't want homelessness to ever end. They want this thing to go on forever because it's a way for them to launder money to their friends. What is the judge going to say? You have to spend even more money on the homeless, which means, oh, twist my arm. I've got to give more money to my friends. Okay, if you force me to.
That's what's been going on in Los Angeles, and it looks like that's what's going to be going on in San Diego.
Including giving out rat poison to kill them. The vector
Wait, I thought rat poison's illegal in this state now, and that's why you cannot have that Whole Foods reopen up in Cupertino.
Well, they better hope the people in Sacramento aren't watching.
You know, there has been an excess of rat stories in California this year.
It's almost like they can't even connect the dots either.
The vector control program says on July 16th, they searched the safe sleeping camp in the O lot and found no rats. However,
someone tipped off the rats.
Hey, Mickey. Hey, Minnie. Get out of here. There's trouble a-coming.
However, those actually living in the camp say otherwise.
I have a phobia of mice, so it's bad enough that it's just you can hear them scratching, and you can hear them.
A phobia of mice. How about developing a phobia of meth?
Well, sometimes meth gives you the phobias because nothing makes you paranoid like you think rats are crawling on your skin all the time like meth. Is it possible? There's probably rats here. But is it possible that the people that are filing this lawsuit think the rats are way more occurring than they are because they're all paranoid because they're all on meth?
I guess anything's possible.
I have a phobia of mice, so it's bad enough that
Again, I don't want to stereotype people, but you can tell by someone's voice if they do meth.
Yeah, I don't think there was anyone who was on the fence.
Your typical San Diegan who lives at the beach, maybe they go surfing, maybe they go to the dog park at Ocean Beach, maybe they go to Mission Bay. They don't sound like this.
I have a phobia of mice, so it's bad enough that it's just you can hear them scratching, and you can hear them.
You don't have to live there.
Of all of the problems that this guy has in his life, this is what he chooses to focus on.
Oh, I thought that was a woman.
Oh, was that a woman?
I have a phobia of mice, so it's bad enough that it's just you can.
I got to look this up now.
Sounds like a man to me.
Okay, well, sometimes with certain people in San Diego, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, if they smoke 4 packs a day, it's hard to tell.
Okay, let me find the story. Okay, here we go. From CBS 8, San Diego homeless camp sue, and the time code where this person is 2 minutes and 4 seconds in. Now, you say it's a dude?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to 2 minutes and 4 seconds in the piece. That's a woman.
No.
Let me just take a little screenshot, and then I'm going to text it to Mr. John Phillips for visual confirmation because I called it.
I would have been willing to lay money down that was a man.
You know,
you're right.
Maury Povich used to do that every once in a while. He would have 10 people on the stage, and the audience would have to guess, man or woman?
Okay. You know what she looks like? If the stand-up comic Judy Tenuta was a hardened drug addict.
I have a phobia of mice, so it's bad enough that it's just you can hear them scratching, and you can hear them.
Laura Zaletta is disabled and has lived in the O lot for the last year and a half. She says she's worried about her cat eating the rat poison.
Wait, if you've got cats in the homeless encampments, they're natural ratters.
So she's the one that they used to bring the lawsuit forward for, correct? Because she's the disabled one.
Yes.
Great.
And says there's only 3 bathrooms and 10 showers for the 200 people living in the camp.
I wonder what her shower accommodations were like before this.
Now is when these people care about hygiene.
I mean, they call it dreams for change, but they change people's dreams into nightmares. There's nothing to dream about there.
It's hard to understand because of the meth teeth, but she said they call this organization Dreams for Change, but the dreams are really nightmares.
I see. So she was a writer before she ended up in the park.
There's nothing to dream about there.
I reached out to Dreams for Change today, and they directed me to the city for any comment. And as I talked with that lead lawyer today, she told me that this may be the first ever time there's been a lawsuit against a major city for its homeless camps. Reporting live, I'm Alex Cheney, CBS 8.
That's because homeless camps are not allowed. But when you create a safe camping site, just like some of the cities that have created these safe parking sites, and now all of a sudden there's these inhumane conditions that you have sanctioned, now you're in trouble.
And now taxpayers, not the city, taxpayers ultimately are responsible, are going to have to write a hefty check. Which is exactly what Todd Gloria and the city want. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Rick writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com on the subject of rats. Well, that many rats would take care of the fresh meat problem. Why eat maggot-infested freebies when you got a fresh solution right there? These people have no vision.
And if you missed yesterday's show and you want to find out what you missed out on, Randy, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's the Apple Podcast app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You can download all the episodes. Do a Google on the YouTube. Get the KABC app. Get the KSFO app. There are so many different ways to listen live to this radio station. And download all our episodes where you can hear all of our crazy drops like my buddy Donut Guy.
on your chin now.
All right, let's take some calls. Let's welcome Paul in San Francisco. Paul, hello.
Yes, regarding those bums suing the lawsuit regarding the conditions in their camp, I wonder if the evidence of used hypodermic needles in the camp was mentioned in the lawsuit.
I don't know if they specified what types of trash ended up piling up in the park, but I would assume that there are a bunch of hypodermic needles there.
Yes, well, these people are victims. Remember that, so we should always consider them victims, just like people who are refugees in World War II. These people are refugees from the greater world, and they just couldn't handle it.
Well, what's so funny about, not funny, ha-ha funny, but funny, ironic funny, about this is they're suing, and I'm sure they're under the impression that they're going to get money. And what's going to happen is the city's going to lose the lawsuit, and the city is just going to have to turn more money over to those crooked homeless organizations that are in charge of the park.
Yes, that's why in San Francisco we call it the homeless industry.
Yes, and they have that all over the state of California, including San Diego, and the people who get hosed over and over and over again are the taxpayers. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Les in Pasadena. Les, hello.
Randy, before I deal with the issue at hand, I would like to compliment you for the outrageous story you shared last week, something to do with booze and weed and a backyard swimming pool that you charitably described as white trash. It was a hilarious story, and I hope you repeat that story for the benefit of all listeners. On on the issue at hand, I just find this so outrageous. John Randy, if you tell your friends and relatives in other states about this lawsuit coming out of a homeless encampment, they'd say, you're making it up. Well, you're not, because you can't make anything up anymore in the state of California. What I find most outrageous about this is cutting a little too close to home. My newly elected representative, Sasha Renee Perez, came up with a bill called Rest in Place. In other words, where you flop is where you live. So my guess, this could happen here in Pasadena. I will be calling her office to remind her that I will not tolerate any more homeless encampments in Pasadena, and I'm damned if I will pay for a lawsuit similar to the one in Pasadena.
You know what's funny? I remember being a child, and my parents used to subscribe to the Orange County Register, paper I now write for, and my dad was going through the newspaper, and he said there was a guy who was robbing a house, and he injured himself while he was robbing the house, and he sued the homeowner because he was injured due to the negligence of the homeowner. And I remember even as a young child thinking to myself, in what world does that happen? In what world do you rob someone, injure yourself while you're robbing someone, and then claim to be the victim and sue the person because you want them to pay up? And as I look at this story and I look at what the homeless people are doing and the groups that represent them, it's the same sort of thing. It's people who have no standing. You shouldn't be robbing someone's house. You shouldn't be living in a park. Parks are not meant for human beings to live in. But you're doing it, and for whatever reason, the city gave you permission to be there. And then you turn around and you claim to be a victim, and you want the people who were trying to help you to give you even more money? The chutzpah of these people to move forward with something like this is beyond my ability to comprehend. But for whatever reason, instead of being looked at as being complete freaks, in the state of California, I guess there's a majority who regard them as victims and who want to give them more. And I just don't understand that mentality at all. It's like they're speaking a different language.
Well, John, I think I understand this. This inverted world you talk about is a one-party state called California.
Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Steve in Silicon Valley. Steve, hello.
Hey, how's it going, John? Thanks for taking the call. I've been doing pest control in this area for 45 years. I've been doing it in the industry for 48 years. The state of California did not ban all rodenticides. They only banned certain ones, okay? Homeless people do not create rats. They create rat problems because rats need food, water, and a place to stay. What did I start out with? Food. The homeless people are feeding them, dude. That's what creates this problem, whether it's Joe Rodota Trail or the homeless encampments down there, okay? The food business is up here, Whole Foods, which I'm about 2 miles away from, and the other 99 Ranch Market. That's a failure of pest control. Their program failed. It's that simple, okay? I just wanted to straighten that out. I heard last week where the pest control said, they banned rodenticide. No, they didn't. They banned cheap rodenticide. There's still plenty of rodenticides that work perfectly, okay?
All right, thank you for the call.
Thanks so much. I was curious. So is Whole Foods just cheaping out on the pest control over there? I mean, I know it's Whole Foods and Bezos doesn't really care if these businesses operate or not. But that place has not been selling food now for 3 months.
Well, with what they charge for groceries, they're the last people on planet Earth who should be going cheap on anything. All right. Now, speaking of the homeless, Randy, we have an update on a story that we did in the Crime Blotter earlier.
We told you of a cafe on K Street in downtown Sacramento that had to close their front entrance and tell all of the patrons of the cafe that they would need to enter the establishment from the alley because a homeless person decided to use the front door of this cafe as a toilet.
Yes, that was unfortunate and certainly not something you want to see when you're eating your lunch.
I have good news to report. In Sacramento, they caught the pooper and they're charging him.
Wait, you're not full of...
No, I'm not.
Okay.
They actually arrested somebody for doing this, which is the first time I've ever heard of this in California in many years.
What happened?
Well, let's find out. Here's a report from KCRA3 in Sacramento.
I'm glad the DA and the county has taken their measures against this action.
I'll tell you what happened. The DA's office watches KCRA3.
Yeah, maybe they were eating lunch there.
Or listens to KSFO. Our signal goes all the way out to Sacramento.
35-year-old Marcel Simmons is now in custody more than a week after he defecated outside Sanaa Cafe in broad daylight. In addition to
They have to get the CSI involved for this?
I would hope not.
In addition to some time in custody, this particular person has been ordered to stay away.
Assistant Chief Deputy DA Rochelle Beardsley says the stay-away order will last at least 2 years, and it's one of the only tools prosecutors have to protect businesses.
And if he returns?
A restraining order. Your butt doesn't go anywhere near K Street.
But here's what happens. When this guy violates the restraining order, which I'm sure he will, and he gets arrested, they're going to say, well, this is a nonviolent offense. How could we throw the book at this guy? This guy's experiencing poverty and homelessness. We have to give him a slap on the wrist.
And if he returns, that is a violation of probation, and he could face custody time again.
She says these types...
They're sounding a lot tougher than what you hear in Los Angeles.
They are. We should give them credit for that.
She says these types of cases fall under the DA's Community Prosecution Unit. It handles quality of life crimes like trespassing, vandalism, and disturbing the peace.
Wait, those are all the quality of life crimes that George Gascon, when he became DA of Los Angeles, said, we're not going to prosecute those.
Quite frankly.
And that's how we ended up with the city we have now.
Although they're minor infractions, offenses, they are huge.
It was a major offense to everyone having lunch that day.
I think I would have thrown up.
They are a huge drain on the quality of life, the ability for residents and businesses to operate.
This is actually the Adani Chai.
For cafe owner Hashim Hussein, the arrest is only part of the solution.
There needs to be more social services. There definitely needs to be more enforcement of the law. There needs to be more support for the small businesses that operate in downtown.
Notice how he wasn't just, there needs to be so much more support for these poor, unfortunate souls.
Well, he did say social services, and I'm sure if he knew where the money was actually going, he'd walk that one back. But yes.
The district attorney's office says it's committed to tackling these issues, but adds it can't do it alone.
Unfortunately, sometimes folks don't report it. Right? That's the biggest thing.
It's why Hussein is urging other business owners to speak up.
Don't give up your business.
You hear that? If you see poop, call the popo.
I'm sure they'll be very excited to take that call.
But we do know that if you do not report all kinds of crimes, whether it's something like this or it's a burglary or a robbery or a carjacking or a bipping, when you don't report it, that's what the politicians can use to say crime is down.
Yeah, you have to blow the whistle every single time.
Don't give up. Your business deserves a fighting chance.
Now Simmons is scheduled to be back in court at the end of October. Live in the newsroom, Carolina Estrada, KCRA3 News.
All right, Carolina, thank you.
So there you go. Some actual resolution. That cafe owner can sleep easy for at least a couple weeks.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Here's an email at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Yes, burglars can sue and win. Hey, John and Randy, we've been in the alarm industry for 40 years. We know another alarm dealer who was sued and lost to a burglar about 10 years ago here in California. The POS burglar broke in, fell down, and lost consciousness. He claimed the siren damaged his ears.
Yeah, we live in an insane asylum. All right, Randy, it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And you could describe these people as, well, frequent flyers.
A big bust happened over the weekend as a LAPD and the DA's office took down a burglary crew full of lifelong gang members that have committed almost 100 burglaries in recent years.
You don't say.
For more, here's ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Police say they have busted a crew responsible for nearly 100 burglaries in the past several years.
Eyewitness News reporter Monica DeAnda is live at LAPD headquarters in downtown LA with the details on this. Monica.
Philip, Colleen, good morning. We talked to LAPD Chief Jim McDonald. He told us that the 10-person burglary crew are career criminals, and they're responsible for nearly 100 home break-ins across the city of Los Angeles.
Wonder how many times they've been arrested in the past.
What is the argument for not putting these people in prison?
It's not a violent crime.
I think the assumption is that half the people out there are all criminals, and if you arrested everyone who broke the law, you'd have half the population behind bars. It doesn't work that way. There is a population of people that has no regard for anyone else, and they break the laws frequently. If you can identify those people and remove them from society, society will be a nice place.
This crew, which had victimized families and businesses, is no longer a threat to our neighborhoods.
For how long?
Well, I'm sure what she wants is quote-unquote accountability.
This morning, LA leaders announcing the takedown of the Rich Rollin burglary crew. The operation took place last Wednesday.
At 5 a.m. on the 20th, teams from West Los Angeles area and Operations West Bureau, along with detectives from North Hollywood, West Valley, Olympic, Hollywood, Wilshire, and Central areas, served warrants at 8 residents across Los Angeles.
Take a look. This map shows you the neighborhoods across Los Angeles where the break-ins were happening. 92 took place in the city of Los Angeles, nearly half in West LA.
Think about this. You can commit 92 burglaries before you get caught.
And I'm sure whatever they're charged with won't reflect in the slightest bit what these people actually did.
An additional break-in was reported in LA County.
10 suspects, all adult career criminals with prior arrests for violent and property crimes, have been identified.
I wonder how many of them got out with Prop 57.
Well, I'm sure they did. And, Randy, you know what that is.
Accountability.
Equity.
10 are confirmed gang members.
The majority of the home break-ins happened this year and last year, but some date back to 2022. Police officers recovered handguns, drugs, burglary tools, and stolen property, from designer purses to wallets and jewelry.
These are not crimes of need. These are crimes of greed.
Oh, Hochman.
Maybe he's angling to run for mayor.
I appreciate him being tougher on crime than the last guy, but the presentation leaves a little to be desired.
These are not crimes of need. These are crimes of greed.
You could do better than that.
I want the burglars and the robbers to know that if we don't get you that day, we're going to get you.
4 years later.
Now, LAPD Chief Jim McDonald also telling us that they do not believe that this specific burglary crew is tied to the home break-ins that we've seen over the summer in the Encino area. But they want the community to know they are working very hard behind the scenes to make an arrest in those cases as well. Reporting in Los Angeles, Monica de Anda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
And when the DA and the police chief listed off the names of the suspects, the thing that I found interesting was how many of them are in their late 40s.
That's pretty long in the tooth for something like this.
Well, especially for that nonsensical argument that the Gascons of the world used to say is that, you know, people age out of crime, and that's why we should let everyone out of prison early.
Notice that all while George Gascon was district attorney, these guys did whatever they wanted.
Yep.